by the glory of the silent thunder unfolding from down under. Set to the yonder. Oh, it's a new day. Right here is where we take a stand. It's a new day. Compassion for our fellow man. Right now we're making a difference. Oh, it's a new day. It's a new day. All together hand in hand. It's a new thing I love. Right here we're making a difference. One life shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One life shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just wanna shout. One life living is you and me. One life shining is you and me.
I want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 'Cause I'm so grateful. So grateful. Oh, grateful. I'm so grateful. So I want to say
Break it down. One life, one love. God is all there is. All it is. Keep on shining, shining, shining from the inside outside. I'm so happy, happy, happy. I just wanna shout. One life living is you and me. Living is you and me. Shining is you and me. Shining is you and me. Loving is you and me. 'Cause God is all. God is all. Is all. Is all. One life living is you and me. Living is you and me. Shining is you and me. Shining is you and me. God is all. Take a look at the person next to you and say, God loves you and I love you too. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, 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 we come together. In the name of love, we come together, 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 we come together. In the name of love. Now look at the person next to you and say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. Oh, we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, from every walk of life, every walk of life, every creed and color, every creed and color. And can should we unite in honor of the God in each other? Take a look at the person next to you. Say namaste, I bow to you. I feel the love in the sanctuary. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. Oh, we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, 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 we come together. every day I'm so thankful, grateful. Oh, it's a new day on my horizon. See all that I am, all I can be. Oh, it's just the gratitude shining through me. Nature gives to me the perfect place to be. I keep on loving myself so I can see there's only beauty in you, beauty in me. Oh, let's all stand up together. We'll see. I'm so grateful. It's about being grateful. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. My life is so precious and yeah. With every breath I take, with every step I take, it takes me higher on my path of awakening. See through the eyes of love, there's only one of us. Grateful for all that's been given us. No need to live in fear. All of life is your soul. Come on, let's love and let the love come shining in. Violet faces, warm embraces. Oh, let's all stand up and let the whole world know. It's about being grateful. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. Every moment of the day I'm thankful. I'm so grateful, thankful. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. My life is so good. Hey, precious and good. Yeah. I'm so grateful. I'm so
Good morning.
thankful. I'm so grateful. Every day I'm grateful, thankful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. With every step I take, with every breath I take, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful, thankful. I'm so grateful.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity of Metairie. We come here this morning to celebrate. Good morning. All right. Hey, Everett, give me a little more volume on the iPod, please. We welcome you this morning. We are a spiritual community that celebrates and honors all spiritual paths, religions, and lifestyles. We welcome you with us this morning. Sing along with us. Everett, I need some more volume on the iPod, please.
Testing.
Here we go. Celebrate your life. Come on, come on, come on. Let's celebrate. Celebrate your life. Come on, come on. You know it. Sing along. And there's a party going on right here. A celebration to last throughout the year. So bring your good times and your laughter too. We're gonna celebrate your life with you. Come on now, celebrate. We're gonna celebrate and have a good time. Yeah. Celebration. We're gonna celebrate and have a good time. Sing it, Weavy.
It's time to come together.
It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Everyone around the world. Come on. That's it. It's a celebration. Get your oohs going. Celebrate. Celebrate your life. Come on. Come on, yeah. Let's celebrate. Celebrate your life. Come on. Come on. So we welcome you this morning to Unity of Metairie. Everybody watching us online this morning, thank you for joining us. Hope you can feel the love and beautiful energy that we have here. Unity is a wonderful philosophical way to live. We love all people. We believe that God, the presence of Christ, is in all living things. And so we come here this morning on this Mardi Gras weekend, woohoo, to celebrate that divine presence. So let's come together with love, with peace, with joy, honoring all religions, lifestyles, and spiritual paths. Here we go. We come together, y'all. It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Everyone around the world. Come on. Yeah, it's a celebration. Yeah, it's a celebration. So take just a moment, y'all, and say hello to your spiritual family with some hugs and handshakes. Everybody watching us today. All right, y'all. Let's get in those last hugs and handshakes. All right. Good morning.
Absolutely. Well, good morning. My name is Shelley, and welcome to Unity of Metairie. If you have a cell phone and you haven't turned it off yet, this might be a good time. We're getting ready to start our service. And leading our service today is going to be our spiritual director, Jack Fowler. Happy
Good
Mardi
morning.
Gras, Jack.
Thank you.
I like your hat.
Thank you. Had a special do made just for today. The good thing about it is that you can cut a cheese tray later on with it if you want.
Dual purpose.
Yes.
For those of you that are watching us on Facebook, we'd like to say good morning. We hope you're having a great day. And if you're ever in the area, please stop by. We'd love for you to visit our spiritual center here. Is there anyone new here today? Anyone that's visiting us for the first time? If you'd like to raise your hand, or if you feel comfortable over here. There we go.
She's already meeting and greeting.
Well, good morning. And we have a spiritual packet that we'd like to give to you to help you on your journey. And also, we do have a card that's inside. So if you'd like to stay in touch with us, after today's service, please fill that out, and you can turn that into Bill in the back office, and we'll be happy to put you on a newsletter list and let you know about all the events and classes that go on here today. It's a lot of different activities, so welcome. Do we have any children in the audience today?
Look how beautiful Miss Abby looks today.
Well, good morning and happy Mardi Gras.
Awesome. All right, here comes this. Oh, look at the
We have
Mardi
another
Gras
one.
tights. I need to borrow those tights for later. I don't have anything to wear under my tutu.
Please join me as we extend a blessing to the children today. Children of light, we
bless you. We see you loved, guided, and protected by God's presence.
And in New Orleans style.
We love you hard, hard, hard. We swear to God. All right.
I'd also like to mention that we have a children's program, so please bring your children, your grandchildren, and we will teach them the same messages and principles that we learn up here, except we'll teach them in their own language. Good morning and welcome to Unity.
All right, thank you, Shelley. Let's all just take a big, deep breath as we become centered in here and now. As best you can, begin to let go of anything that's happened this week, any conversations you had, any thoughts or worries or concerns. And just bring all of your energy, gather it in here and now to this place. For everything that you need is here in this holy moment. As we breathe in the divine breath of God. Thank you, Spirit, for this time that we come together to support each other and to love each other, to see the presence of God in each other, to remind each other of our magnificence. And for this time together, we have come together for a holy purpose, and we say, thank you, God, thank you, God. And so it is. Man, this thing is hot. I don't know how drag queens do it. This is like, whoosh. Man, oh man, and I don't even have my chair. So so let's just sit back and relax as Carla is going to come up and share with us our daily word. And after this, we have a special presentation for you.
Wholeness, Sunday, March 3rd, 2019. I am a whole and healthy expression of spirit. Appearances are temporary impressions and not an accurate picture of who I am. If I am facing a health challenge, I bless my body for the restorative powers that have their source within me in the life of God. Despite any outer appearances, wholeness and strength of mind are the truth of me. I am a product of divine life, and I connect with spiritual essence through prayer and meditation. In moments of quiet reflection, I turn within to this inner wellspring of healing and feel the energizing flow of God's perfect life in and through my body. This life is continually flowing, bringing health and healing to every part of my being. My heart beats with the rhythm and harmony of God. My cells vibrate with the energy of life. And today's scripture is taken from the book of Isaiah, chapter 58, verse 8. Then your light shall break forth like the dawn, and your healing shall spring up quickly.
Wow, what beautiful words. We can just go home on that. That says it all. So, as many of you know, we've been changing up our service. Hey, Phil, it's so good to see you. All right. Hey, Everett, bring down both of these mics a little bit. We're getting a little bit of feedback. As you know, since the beginning of the year, we have changed things up a little bit and done some interesting things. And so one of the things we tried last year, which we're going to bring back about once a month, is to have what's called a congregant corner, where you get to come up, one person gets to come up and you get to learn a little bit more about them. I'm realizing that many of us don't even know a lot of details about each other, what we do for our work, if I need a new hairdo, is there someone here that can give that to me? Is someone here that cuts the grass? So it's an opportunity for people to share about their life and to share about their spiritual journey and share about unity and how it has affected them. So if you're interested in doing this and sharing for about 5 minutes one Sunday, please let me know. If you have a wonderful story to tell or just love to get up and be a ham and talk about yourself, just let me know. And today we have one of our new board members, Sue Mecklin, is going to come up, and she's going to share with us just a few moments about her adventures, I believe, in Mexico and some that she's learned there. So y'all, let's give it up for Sue as she comes to share for you today.
Wow, it's fitting that the word for the day talks about wholeness and health and wellness. I had the opportunity to travel last month with Patch Adams as a clown to promote wholeness and health and healing. He was made famous in 1998 by a movie starring Robin Williams. But has had this thought since he left medical school in 1971 that the medical profession is not healing. They're not healers, but they have the possibility of healing by incorporating humor, laughter, and connection. His idea is that connection is the most important thing that we are lacking in this world. And it's the cause of not only illness, but all the strife that we are experiencing it. We have lost the tribal nature of our beings, the thing that made us what we are. And in that, we have lost some of our humanity. I started clowning in 1999, so I'm in my 20th year of clowning. I do mostly what I call undercover clowning, which is just being purely silly most of the time. I work mostly as volunteer, do a lot of volunteer work. I've gone to hospitals and things. And I, again, in February, had the opportunity to travel with him to Mexico City. It's been kind of like a dream of mine to do that. And if you want to put up that first slide, to travel as a clown, fully as a clown. He wears clown every day, all day. He works and travels in clown so that he can start conversations with people. I don't know if that's my desire to do that, but I'm working towards it. So on February 10th, I boarded a plane to Mexico City. I had all the fears and worries. I didn't speak Spanish. I didn't know what I was going to do. I got to the airport. My phone stopped working. Okay, but I pulled myself together, had a cup of hot chocolate, which was the national drink, and got in a cab and said, go. I didn't know if the guy was going to take me to the place I'm going or he was kidnapping me because it took an hour and a half to get to the hostel. Every place, everywhere takes an hour at least, sometimes two. I was following my passion and my desire and my intent that I set at the beginning of the year, that whatever showed up, as much as I could, I would say yes to. I would say yes to this trip. I would say yes to sitting on the board. I would say yes to trying to get down to the city today to see the parade if I can. I would just say yes to experiencing life fully, making connections. So I boarded the plane. The first person I met was a gentleman from the Philippines. He had never clowned before. But when I got to the hostel, he was there, and he wanted to go to the Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe, which is outside of us. So we got on the metro, not knowing where we were going. And went to the Basilica, which was beautiful, and he went to the Mass. And I walked around and watched people and looked at the gardens and just explored. It was really an ancient, spiritual, sacred place. And we were there at 12 o'clock when the capelines started, on all the chapels started ringing. It was just amazing. The next day, 22 clowns from around the world came together at the hostel. And we had our breakfast, and we got ready, and we got on the bus. And that was our rallying call, clowns on the bus for the rest of the week. So those are our 22 fellow clowns, Patch Adams, is the guy with the mustache in the middle, just so you know. I clowned on the Metro by giving out stickers. I think they thought I was a crazy old lady because they kept telling me to sit down, and I said, no, I want to ride and just enjoy the journey and the adventure of going. I just received 100-fold pieces of joy, and in that little act of handing someone a sticker and making them smile, or just looking in their eyes until they smiled. I know they think I was a crazy old lady. During the week, we worked with a lot of organizations. That's our silly shot. And we're all silly. There's another shot which I can't show. These are my roommates, and as I said, Lena is from Denmark, Marcella is from Italy, and Celia is from Ireland. And we were all staying in a room we had never met before, but we were sisters by the end of the trip. We worked with local organizations. The first, we went out to a hospital, with a group of clients, and we the wards, we rooms, we visited people. We went into something I never thought I could do, which is we went into the burn unit, and I didn't think we did not that day see children, which for me, I think that would have been very difficult. I persevered and went into the burn yard, and I took a breath every time I felt fear. I took a breath, and that fear went away. We worked with another organization called Reinserta, and they went to, oh, you can slide it. This is us getting ready to go and talking about what we were doing. We went to Ibera University, which is one of the largest universities in Mexico City. It's a very wealthy university. You have to have a lot of money, apparently, to go there, which was, and we taught Pat gave a lecture on the medical system and big pharma, and we just talked to people and made them smile and made them laugh. And he showed a film, which will be on Netflix at some point, about clowning in Vietnam, the group of Vietnam vets from Minnesota, which was very interesting because these were hardcore gentlemen, veterans, and how that impacted them. So if you see that come on Netflix, I would watch it. It's amazing. We worked to an orphanage that dealt with young men and children that had mental disabilities. This is also the university. You can switch it again, I'm sorry. This is also the university. We went to the Casa Hogar, which was the orphanage. And basically, I was holding hands most of the day and dancing. I met a young man named Vincent who was amazing and played ball and danced like crazy. You can change it. We went, the next day we went to elementary school. We had 300 children that we entertained. They were all over us. It was very hard to get out. We had to literally pull some of our clowns out from their grips. We walked down the streets of Santa Fe. We said hi to all the people in the shops, and we went to a high school. All the boys and girls were set together, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, in this high school around, because they had to be there. They were told they had to be there. So their girlfriends, I went around giving kisses to them, to all the boys, and they made them kiss each other. It was really funny. But we were just playing, doing funny things, entertaining there. The next day, we went to a grade school. We went to a women's prison, which I don't have pictures of because we couldn't. This place is, the women have their children there. They can keep them from the time they are born to the time they are 6. They have a lovely daycare. I toured it. I mean, it's not the optimal place to be, but at least they have their children with them. And when they get out, when the children turn 6, they go to a foster home specifically for them. Then they go back to their parents, if that's possible. So they always try to go back to their mothers. I talked with ladies who were sitting in a corner. They were older ladies. They were sitting, making tablecloths by pulling the strings out of fabric to make fringe and then tying the fringe. We sat there for at least an hour talking with them, and I don't speak Spanish, but we were communicating in a different language altogether. And then we went, on the final day, we went to the techno community at Nisa. This is a community that was built on a landfill, a dump. The people chose to go there. They were offered the land there to build the houses. So a group of people moved there because their situation in Mexico City was worse than living in a dump. They have no electricity, no running water, no utilities of any kind. The train goes through there once a day. A freight train goes through there once a day. It's very dusty. It's very dirty. It's very beautiful. The people have made their land by planting flowers, decorating their houses, and so forth. And you can run it to the last one, I think. So I did magic. We did magic. It's amazing what you can do when you don't have language, but you have something that will catch the children's attention. Our goal here was the techno people who are the people who are helping them organize the communities there, because they're having right now conflict between two communities. They want them to get the adults involved in doing building projects for the community. So they thought that if we got the children engaged, that they will bring the parents. And so we did a big parade, and we drew the children and the parents to one place, and then they made a picture of a train for the community to see all together. So that's it. And the last one, I think there's one more. So this is the picture of all of the clowns and all the children. No, there's actually 2 more. So really quickly, I'll show you. This is what we did after hours. We actually got a chance to relax. We were exhausted. And that is some of the best hot chocolate I've ever tasted. And then one last picture, I think, is there. And this is the last night. We did a flash mob in the square in the plaza, a clown flash mob. We had signs that said free hugs in Spanish, of course. And then I want to look at you longingly for a minute. And we went through the plaza. It was very busy. It was a Saturday night. And I was never turned down for either looking longingly into people's eyes or the hugs. It was an amazing experience. There were more adventures, of course, more misadventures, more adventures. Just amazing. Just a minute to tell you what Patch Adams' goal is to create a hospital in West Virginia. He has bought the land 49 years ago, and he's been working on building it ever since. He's sort of like Don Quixote. He really wants to get it done. But in the meantime, he's planting seeds all over the world about how laughter, humor, wellness, community can build, can grow and strengthen and drive out any thing that is negative. And that's my adventure in Mexico City. And I'm
Thank
going
you,
next
Sue.
year.
If you also have a great adventure to share or something that has inspired you, let me know. You too can be on Facebook. And once again, we welcome everybody that's watching us today at home. I'm sure Mila's there. Wherever you may be, we know that God is present there. And what I know is that right here, right now, we are exactly where we need to be. There are no mistakes in the mind of God, and life unfolds perfectly and beautifully. So let's relax in knowing this with gratitude. May our hearts be open. May everything that needs to be said, and whatever needs to be heard, be heard. This is a holy encounter, orchestrated by Spirit, right here, right now. right here, right now. We have come into the presence of God, and our hearts are open to the love that's found right here, right now. Right here, right now. We have come into the presence of God, and our hearts are open to the love that's found right here, right now. And this candle that we have here in front of us on the stand represents the one presence, the one power that is in all of us. May this candle burn throughout our service as a reminder that within each of us and every living thing, there is a power, there is a presence, there is a light greater than anything in this world. And we see that light more clearly as we move into a time of silence and stillness and prayer and meditation. So I'd invite you to go with me on a journey within as we take our focus away from the world, away from all of the commotion and the news and the tragedy, and begin to turn all of our thoughts inward. For within you, in this moment, there is a power, a presence, greater than anything in this world, greater than any circumstances in your life. It is the very power and presence of God. Sometimes we forget that this presence is there as we become distracted by the world, all the things we see with our eyes, and we forget that everything that we see here in this world will disappear. Nothing here is permanent. The only real and permanent thing is your true essential self. The part of you that is timeless and ageless, forever loving, forever loved, held in perfection by the mind of God. For no matter what happens in your life's journey, who you really are is held by grace. You are still in this moment exactly as God created you, whole, perfect, complete. You are exactly as God. You are holy. You are the beloved. So I'd invite you to continue to let your body relax. Feel yourself supported by the chair. Begin to consciously watch your breath as you breathe in deeply. And then exhale. Putting all of your focus on your breath. Using your breath as a mantra, a place to look, to focus. If you become distracted, if you become uncomfortable, just simply look at your breath. Watch. Breathing in. As you breathe deeply, feel your body relax. Letting go of any tension, any stress. Feel your legs become free and loose. Release any tension in your abdomen, your chest. Feel your shoulders gently drop. Releasing any tension in your neck, your forehead. Feel your face begin to soften. Completely surrendering to this moment. Letting go. Surrender. being here and now. And just as your body has relaxed, take just a moment and look in your mind and see what thoughts may still be there. And realize that you have the power and the choice for your mind to become empty. Allow your mind to unwind, become still. If any thoughts appear, just allow them to be without judgment and then gently let them fall away. As you allow yourself to fully become empty and open, present here and now. Surrendering to the emptiness. Begin to notice that sacred space between each thought. Watch how that emptiness grows. For there's a sacred space between each of your thoughts. In this space, there is a gap, an entryway into your true self, your essential self. This is where you find God. This is where you find yourself. In this sacred emptiness. The holy gap between your thoughts. Breathing in the very breath of God. Breathing in the life of God. Breathing in the light of God. Be still. And know that I am God. Be still and know that all is well. Surrendering to the stillness and to the silence. Listening to that still small voice that is always there, infinitely patient, waiting for you to look within. To see your true essential self. Surrendering, being present, waiting, listening in the silence. And from this place of stillness, we are so grateful for this time together. Thank you, God. Thank you, life. As we turn this time over to Spirit, so thankful for our spiritual community. So thankful for this loving group of people. And so it is. Amen. Good morning again. All wound up. That was nice. Thank you for joining me. So it's Carnival Sunday. Everybody excited? You look it. Well, you know, it's interesting. When I first moved back here 6 years ago, I was very, very excited to be back in the French Quarter. I lived here for 10 years during the 90s, actually all throughout the 90s. And I find myself now, and I have to watch myself forgetting that we live in an area, not only just in New Orleans, but in the expanded area out here to Metairie and beyond. We live in one of the most interesting, beautiful, mystical, crazy places in the world. And we take that for granted. You know, I think that we should, I mean, you don't have to go to every parade or, you know, act crazy or, you know, put on a mohawk wig like I did earlier, cut on my little blinky blinks. Wow, they do all kind of stuff. I'll just put them on like that. But however, I found myself guilty of this too, and I wonder how many of us are like, oh, it's Mardi Gras, and we forget how special and wonderful this time is. Because not everybody else on Tuesday will be having a Fat Tuesday. Most of the places in Nashville, where I spent some time and still have a place and work in the music industry, they'll just be going to work, and you might go to some restaurant and they'll have like a Fat Tuesday special or something, but they have no idea about how joyful and exciting and how wonderful it is. And I just feel that we collectively need to embrace all of this more, and in whatever way works for you. Like I said, you don't have to even go down the parades, but people save their money for years to be able to come to a place that we take for granted. They save their money, they take their vacation time, they spend, especially during Mardi Gras, extravagant amounts for hotels, and I just think we should celebrate it and say, wow. I live right in the middle of the quarter, and somebody asked me earlier today, said, well, about Mardi Gras, and I said, well, I really can't get away from it. I live right in the middle of the corner by Jackson Square. Even if I wanted to, unless I just stayed holed up in my house, I have to see craziness just to go to the grocery store, which has happened a couple of times, you know, just walk in to get some milk or something, and then something crazy happens. But I feel that this year I have a great sense of joy more than I've ever had around it, which is cool. Because we don't have to be out in the streets, you know, getting drunk and carrying on. There's a great sense of history and for 300 years, and there's a great sense of wonderment, and there's a great sense of pride that we have our own culture, and we have our own food, and we have our Mardi Gras. Now, with that said, I have to say, and I don't want to start a fight about this, and I know Paul has an argument about this as well that doesn't hold up. He tried to convince me of it one day. I was like, no. But I grew up in Mobile, Alabama, and many of you know that Carnival in the United States actually started in Mobile. It did not start in New Orleans. It is the truth. Look in the true history books, and you will find that actually Carnival started in Mobile 50 years before New Orleans was even founded as a city. Mobile turned 300 in 2003. So anyway, we won't get into that debate, and really, who cares? It matters more to people from New Orleans than from Mobile because they just don't like to hear it. But you're in denial, Latrell, you're in denial. But I grew up in Mardi Gras, I marched in parades when I was in the band, so I had the whole thing growing up. I was in the band. We actually raised a lot of money marching in parades, and my mom was really involved with the band boosters. And I have such a great memory of Mardi Gras. Now, the other big thing different in Mobile is the beads are important, but the most important thing are the moon pies. I mean, moon pies have become such a cultural phenomenon there that during New Year's Eve, they drop an enormous moon pie from one of the buildings downtown instead of something else, instead of beads or anything else. Like a huge moon pie comes down. So it's just fun for the culture. And I was glad to see Carl and Ken last week join me for the dog parade Barkus. How many people actually made it to see the dogs last week on Sunday? Just love it. It's my favorite time. I almost blew up my phone taking so many pictures and videos. And so just joyful. So I just challenge you to embrace it. If you've got a bad attitude about it, just embrace it and say, this is something wonderful and unique for our city. Now, I do find it interesting that Mardi Gras is based on a religious holiday when it comes down to it. As many of you know, Fat Tuesday comes, and then what's next? Ash Wednesday, which leads us to Palm Sunday and Easter Sunday. So it's interesting that it backs up based on where Easter falls. I mean, this is really late for Mardi Gras. March 5th, I think that's the latest it's been in a really long time. March 9th, the latest it could ever be. So it's interesting, and I love how even when it's early in February, we still all do the same stuff, but we cram it into this little bit of time. I kind of like this leisurely way of doing it. So I love explaining that to people. Most people that aren't familiar with Mardi Gras, first of all, say this to me. I want to come down there and come see the parade on Bourbon Street. Like there's one parade and it goes down Bourbon Street. That's what everybody thinks. And I try to go into this whole thing about, actually it's a whole season, a cultural season, that carnival season that lasts and lasts and lasts. Hey, Weavy, can you cut down the air? I'm actually cold. If I'm cold, I know it must be freezing in here. I mean, I'm not complaining because I'm usually sweating, but everybody kind of cold? Okay. We're going to cut it down a little bit. But anyway, so it backs up, people that don't understand how big it is and how ingrained it is in the culture. I even had a friend from Dallas called me last week and said, hey, we were thinking about coming over for Mardi Gras. And I said, you mean like Mardi Gras Day? He's like, yeah. I thought he was going to ask to stay with me. It's somebody I don't know well enough to stay with me. But, when you live in the quarter, like, hey, buddy, old pal, I hadn't talked to you in 10 years. Oh, it happens to be Mardi Gras? He wasn't asking to stay with me. He said, I think we're just going to grab a hotel and come into town on Tuesday. And I was like, well, good luck with that. I said, you're probably going to be staying in Slidell or Chalmette, or in the parking garage. Is that what you said? You stayed at a parking garage? Did you sleep there overnight? Wow. We have... Oh, you came here thinking, so you're one of those that like, hey, I'll get a hotel. And then slept in the parking garage. Maybe you can do that for Congregate Corner. Tell us about your time of sleeping in the parking garage and all that happened. So, and then also explaining that how it is based on Easter is also surprising because most people think it's a big decadent thing. But as I said earlier, it can be a time, me as a creator and as a songwriter, I love the feeling that I get, the creativity that comes out. And you see people with these extravagant outfits. Even the dogs had extravagant outfits. But leading up to Lent, which will start, does Lent actually start on Ash Wednesday? Okay, so that is the day that it starts. And that's why we all supposedly wore masks, so we could just go crazy on Fat Tuesday and then no one know who we are. Then we'd be in church on Wednesday morning getting ashes on our head. So I thought today would be fun to look at Lent from a metaphysical standpoint and see how we can apply it to our life from a different view. Many of us have given up some of the real traditional ways and thoughts about how we think about different holidays. For me, I've totally transformed, as you know, when you heard me speak during the holidays of Christmas, that I love Christmas again. I had to have a couple of years where I was like, I'm not sure. I love it again, seeing it through new eyes and celebrating it as a time when I see the rebirth of the Christ presence in everyone, because we all are that baby. We can also apply that, we all are that baby in the manger. We can also apply that to any holiday, to Lent, to Easter. And so it reminds me of everybody familiar with Ricky Graham and Becky Allen? They've done comedy here for years and years. If you've never seen their shows, they're hysterical. They do a variety show together, and Ricky actually has written many original plays that have been successful here in town. Well, they used to do a variety show about Mardi Gras, and Becky's this boisterous woman that wore these crazy outfits, and she used to do this character called Sister Mother Mary Mardi Gras, and used to crack me up. And one of the jokes was, and kids won't get this, so it doesn't matter, that Sister Mother Mary Mardi Gras was sitting in her quarters praying, getting ready for the Ash Wednesday and Lent season, and the father came by to talk to her, and he said, "Hey, Sister Mother Mary Mardi Gras, you're looking really nice tonight. Would you think about coming over and spending some time with me this evening?" And she said, "Well, I don't know about that. What do you have in mind?" He said, "Well, you know, just the usual." And she said, "Oh, Father, I can't. It's Lent." "Well, can you borrow it back just for a couple of hours?" It'll sink in. I love that. I couldn't pass up that joke. So from a metaphysical, spiritual perspective, Lent stands for a voluntary retreat from the world to prepare for our resurrection. The resurrection from what? We're not talking about necessarily our physical body, although it can include that. The resurrection from false beliefs, error thinking, and denial of our innate divinity. I love that thought that we are constantly in denial of our innate divinity. The innate means that this divinity came with you into this experience. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to get ashes on your head or whatever. Those are all beautiful rituals if you choose to participate. But your divinity came with you, lock, stock, and barrel. And as I've mentioned before, you can cover over it as much as you would like, but it stays there. And we can see Lent as a time of letting go of our denial of this, saying, I will no longer deny my divinity. I will step up and accept that who I am is a beautiful child of God, and I deserve all of the things that go along with that. A healthy body, a beautiful life, great relationships, fulfillment in my work, the ability to co-create anything that I want to with this power that's within me. I love that. That's a whole talk in itself. So Lent stands for voluntary retreat, so it's your choice, from the world to prepare for our resurrection from false beliefs, error thinking. So what is error thinking? Error thinking is when our thoughts don't line up with God's thoughts about us. That means that we are in error about it. And actually, that's what I think sin is. Sin is simply when your idea about yourself, is different from what God's opinion of you is. That's a thought that is in error. It's not correct. And luckily, a sin doesn't have to be punished. A sin just needs to be corrected. And that's what we're doing in a gathering like this. And this is what we do in classes, is that we are learning to let go of these thoughts, these error thinking. And you've heard me mention it many times, but it always is good to say, once again, that most of our error thinking doesn't even originate from us. It originated from someone else, and we believed it because we were young and impressionable and 3 or 5 years old, and someone said something about us, and we internalized it, and that becomes our reality. It's not God's reality, but it becomes our reality. And so Lent can be a time that we let go of those errors, let go of the false ideas about ourselves. Someone asked me once, what is ego? When we talk about ego, which in psychiatry means something different than what we talk about in spiritual terms, and especially in A Course in Miracles talks about the ego a lot. What is the ego? And the ego is simply a false thought about yourself. That's all that it is. Sometimes it's good to turn it into something because we're able to confront it head on, but it's not really a thing. It's not really a person or a thing. It's just a false thought about yourself. So Lent could be a time to let go of error thinking, false beliefs, and denial of our innate ability. It is all about fasting and feasting. Both practices can bring us tremendous spiritual power. Traditionally, people choose to give up something for Lent, even people who do not regularly practice a faith tradition throughout the year. It has just become kind of popular to do that. Is anybody planning to give up anything for Lent, or have you even thought about it? Yeah? What? Can you say it out loud? Is it appropriate? Okay. All right. Well, that's a good one. For Lent, she is giving up 15 pounds. Who else? Does anybody else give anything up for Lent? No? You heathens. You're all heathens. Oh, I am too. And I love how, it mentions in here from this article that I pulled, says that many people actually do this too, just because it's a tradition, even if they're not involved with a faith. It's just a tradition to do so. And one of the reasons I have to just say here, one of the reasons that I love unity so much, and I prefaced this earlier, is growing up in the environment I did with two parents being a minister, I really had to push away from the Bible for a little bit and some of the traditional ideas in that, and just settle for a minute and just be away from it, and then come back around to it and look at it through metaphysical terms. And so that's why I'm even talking about this today, that we can embrace these ideas that many of us heard as children from our church, and realize that many of these things can actually be practiced, but we just look at them in a little different way. For a while, Paul and Brenda did the series of Metaphysical Bible Study, which I think was such a great help to many people that came to that, to read some of these scriptures and look at it through different eyes. And so Lent can actually be used as something very powerful for us. People give up all kinds of things for Lent. Typically, they choose to fast from things like chocolate. I don't know about that. Smoking, don't smoke. Alcohol, meat. And then it says, do vegetarians give up vegetables and eat meat? Hey, let's try this. For all the vegans watching, why don't you, for Lent, give up veganism and eat meat? Wow, instead of fish on Friday, you can have a big old wonkin' hamburger. I don't think that would go over very well. From the vegetarians I know, bless them. But some have found ways to use the Lenten ritual to their benefit. They choose to fast from eating salads, working late, or mowing the lawn. Or they figure out how to twist the rules. For example, they give up milk chocolate, but can eat dark chocolate. Now that's really twisting the rules a little bit. They give up television, but Netflix is okay. That sounds like me. I don't watch a lot of television, but I have getting a big old television. People said, my friends were like, why are you getting a big old TV for? I was like, my Netflix. I want to see it in big screen. They give up watching all sports other than basketball. After all, March Madness falls smack in the middle of Lent. So I don't know if that's going to work. So Lent can be a time that it's almost like New Year's Eve in a way, if you do it metaphysically. Lent is a time where we symbolically can take, just look at the contents of our life and some of the things that we believe and some of the thoughts that may be in error, and begin to really embrace them and give up these ideas that no longer serve us. In a lot of ways, it's just like New Year's Eve symbolically for that, letting go of things that no longer serve us. It reminds me of when we breathe, and I talk about breathing during the meditation. It's such a powerful but simple thing to do. And breathing is symbolic of breathing in what we need that nourishes our body, and then letting go of what no longer serves us. Breathing is actually a metaphor for our life if we choose it to be, and Lent can be part of that exhaling, the letting go, the letting go. So how do we take this time? By the way, how many people are actually go to Ash Wednesday to get the ashes? I actually want to do that. Is it okay to do that if you're not Catholic? Paul would know. He used to be a priest. Mm-hmm. Right. Drive-through ashes? Okay. The bishop has, so drive-through, that kind of sounds like my speed. I might do drive-through ashes. Okay. Yes. Well, I love that idea. Okay, so I can go to any church and do it. I just think symbolically, now there was a time I couldn't have done this. I was too close to it, but I think it would be awesome to go to one of these churches or go to even the Catholic church and get the ashes. I've never done that before. That would be, how many people have actually done that? We're grown up Catholics. So you know, and what do? You let the ashes stay on there a while, or when do you get to wash them off?
You really don't. They come off.
Ooh.
Traditionally, they're made from the palms,
palms from the previous year are burned. So you can't wash your face? Okay. Dried ashes. All right. Well, we'll definitely be sweating. And I was going to extend the invitation to anyone that might want to join me. Let me know afterwards, and we'll make a little list. It might be great for us to go as a group, maybe 3 or 4 of us, if you might want to go do that. I think it'd be fun.
I wonder if they have it at the big church downtown. What is that called? St. Louis Cathedral?
All the churches have it. Now, some of them it's connected with the Mass. Other churches do it separate, but every church has its own schedule.
Right. Well, that's close to me. I live almost right by the yes. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I think it'd be kind of fun to go and, yes. Okay. Mardi Gras tradition. I bet you can see some sights in there that day. Right. Didn't make it off Urban Street. Well, you know, thinking about the drive-through ashes, you guys may know about this because it's a city not far from here, Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I went to some pre-college courses at USM, University of Southern Mississippi, and they have a drive-through funeral home, which they prop up the casket and people drive through and skid out of the parking lot and say, well, viewing the body, yeah. They drive through and skid off. People are weird. I mean, that's all I can say. And they say people in New Orleans are weird. Well, that's pretty weird. The drive-through daiquiris, yes, which is another thing that actually traumatizes people that I know and I tell about. You can drive through and get drinks in your car. It's kind of crazy. I did want to share something. You can't drink what? Yeah, you can't drink them. You just get them in the car, wink, wink. Don't anyone do that. So I wanted to share something with you guys as well. Many of you may have known Ron Neild, who has been here a couple of times on Sunday morning. A pretty big guy. He used to come to Course in Miracles group and actually sang at our open mic night. Sang a Beatles song at open mic night last fall. He has been sick and made his transition yesterday. And it really has deeply affected me because, and I just wanted to share this with you to begin to close. For one, he was ready to go and he wanted to go. He was an avid unity, not only unity, but he studied many traditions, ancient. He went to the Buddhist temple and actually became a devout Buddhist, but he just incorporated all kinds of ideas into his life to celebrate his divinity in all kinds of different ways. And he loved coming to Unity. He loved coming to our Wednesday night group. And I was fortunate enough to help him move out of his apartment last summer and be able to spend time with him. I didn't really get to know him that well just being here on Wednesday night, but we really got to talk. And what a beautiful soul. And so I am just sending him on his journey. And I'm curious. You know, when someone makes their transition, I tend to not be sad anymore. I'm curious. I'm like, what does he now know that all that stuff that we discussed sitting right here on Wednesday nights in a circle, we discussed it over and over and over again about this and that and what happens. And now he knows. I mean, how wonderful. I know that is good. I'm not sure exactly what happens. I don't think any of us do, but I know that it's wonderful. How could it not be? How could it not be when we reemerge back into our true self and let go of our body? But Ron's story is so intriguing and interesting, and we'll closing with this to show you the power of you and your mind. So Ron had become, it became hard for him to get around. He started using a cane about a year ago, and he slowly just started getting worse and worse. And he was here one night on a Wednesday night and sat in the parking lot. We didn't even know he was out there. And then he drove away and texted and said, I was in the parking lot, but I just couldn't get out of my car. So his mobility had started declining. And first of all, he thought maybe I should go into assisted living here in New Orleans. He loved New Orleans and had been here for many years. Not from here, but loved it. And he has a sister that lives in Phoenix. And she said, no, we want you out here with our family, with your brother and your sister. So I went and helped him pack all of his stuff in his apartment. Packed everything up. He had a lot of stuff crammed in that little apartment. We packed all of it up, and they were bringing one of those pods, you know, those pods, which is really cool. You just put all your stuff in, and they haul it off. And The very day that they were coming with the U-Haul and his brother-in-law came from Phoenix to help him move, the very exact day that morning, he fell and went into the hospital. And they said, well, it looks like you fractured your leg. Well, his brother-in-law went on as planned and took all of his stuff to Phoenix. He even bought a house in Phoenix that he had never seen, but his sister went and looked. So they took all of his stuff to Phoenix. So here he is. Can you imagine this? In a hospital in New Orleans and have nothing but the clothes you're wearing. And all your stuff, including your car, was towed behind, is all the way in Phoenix. And we had a lot of talk about this. I'm like, Ron, what's going on here? You know, there's something deeper. This stuff doesn't just happen. There's something much deeper going on here. And I believe in his heart of hearts, he just didn't want to leave New Orleans. He would rather just transition than have to leave and have to be in a state where he wasn't mobile. He never left the hospital. That was in August, and he never left the hospital. He's been in the hospital this entire time. They did surgery on his leg, and when they did surgery on his leg for the fracture, they found that he had cancer in his bone. And then just on and on, you know, a list. I won't go into all the ailments. But can you imagine being in the hospital from August until yesterday? And that's why I say I know that he was ready to make that beautiful transition. I talked to his sister last night, and she said that it was very quick and easy. And I just wanted to share about my friend Ron today because, and I know that he would agree with me, even though he experienced pain from what he went through, that was him orchestrating all of that. He didn't want to go to Phoenix. That's how powerful our minds are. That's how powerful you are as a co-creator. All of the universe lined up to create a situation where he didn't have to deal with any of his stuff. He was able to let it go. Talk about letting go. Talk about a Lent. That was honkin' Lent. Honkin' Lent. Everything was gone except for what he wore to the hospital that day. And I see this happen, or I've seen this happen many times before, the power of our mind to co-create things, even if it's subconscious, even if it's things that on the surface may not appear as though it's such the greatest thing in the world. And I'm sure that Ron would agree with me because we had conversations about this. But as I said, I think about him now, just wondering and curious, and celebrating him this Lent as he did the ultimate thing of letting go of his body and reemerging into non-physical. So I send you, Ron, much love and peace and joy. Please stay in touch in whatever way that you can and be present and guide whenever you can, and I'll be looking for you as well. And so for the rest of us, may we remember during this season that this is a time of letting go. We celebrate this time of Lent as we move towards Palm Sunday, Easter Sunday, this holy season. May we surrender, knowing that life is always unfolding for us exactly as it should. Trusting in this presence that is always guiding us, always leading us. May we celebrate life to the highest degree today. May we celebrate our wonderful city and this area as we feel the joy and the love of everyone this weekend through Fat Tuesday. Being grateful for the creativity and the love and the joy and the celebration of life that is. And I am grateful for this amazing spiritual community we call Unity of Metairie. We are a great idea in the mind of God. We are prosperous. We are here for a holy purpose. And for this time together today, I say thank you, God, and so it is. May we let go of those things that no longer serve us. Thank you, God. And we come to the part in our service where we give to support this wonderful spiritual center. As we move into 41 years of being a light in this community, 41 years of providing a safe place for everyone, no matter what their spiritual path or religion or lifestyle. We give this morning to support our vision of co-creating a world that works for everyone. So today, knowing how blessed we are, we give our offering, bringing it here to the front, dropping it there, taking an affirmation with you. Anyone that is choosing to give with a credit card can meet Bill out in the Welcome Center where you came in, and he can take that from you there. And for everyone watching today on Facebook, you can simply look at the post below what you're watching now and streaming, and there's a secure link there where you can also give with credit card or a PayPal account. And we appreciate everyone that gives, that watches us through our streaming. We hope that you can feel half the love that we feel here today. Thank you for all that you've given. So today, knowing how blessed we are, we give with an open heart, knowing that what we give comes back to us, realizing how blessed we are. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. And Ken is there with the bag as an usher. If you'd like to remain seated, he can meet you where you are. Just simply raise your hand. As we sing once again, we are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so blessed. And we are so grateful to everyone that gives to our spiritual family today. Thank you. So a few announcements before we head out into the day. Speaking of the people that are watching us on Facebook, as we were doing our year-end finances, I was pleasantly surprised to see actually how much those that watch us have given throughout the year since we started streaming our service. So thank you, everyone. We do have, finally, anyone that still needs your tax letter, a contribution for donations to send in with your taxes, those are available. And for all of our employees, they're getting, our 1099s are available. We apologize for taking a while to get that together. We're getting that all worked out. Speaking of that, we do have a board meeting today where we're going to be talking about that exact thing. Everyone is welcome to come to our board meetings. They're open. Today will not be a town hall type meeting that we have quarterly, but will be a time where we meet and talk about the church's business. Anyone is welcome to stay and listen and share. But that will be immediately following service for anyone that may want to be involved with that. We do have this week, even though it will be Ash Wednesday, we will be having our normal things. Wednesday night is our Faith Lift, 6 p.m. Join us for an hour meditation of stillness and silence and music and guided words. It's a very powerful time to go within. Right after that, I facilitate a discussion on A Course in Miracles at 7 p.m. for about an hour and a half. It's a great middle of the week to boost your spirits and to feel inspired once again. I love our Wednesday night, so please plan to join us. Paul and Brenda are working on getting new classes revved up, and we're going to be talking about that soon. We'll maybe actually be starting to do a Sunday morning thing like a Sunday school. So we'll keep you posted on that. Where are we going to lunch bunch today? Awesome. So meet Sam afterwards. We're going to go to Zia's for lunch bunch. It's a great time to eat with your spiritual family and learn a little bit more about them. Did we get CDs today ever? Oh, no CDs today, but if you want to listen, you can always stream. All of the streaming services are archived on Facebook. Hey, we have the new daily words in for March and April. They're just $5. They're in the bookstore. It's a great way to get your day going well. Just like Carla read earlier today, it's just a short little inspiration passage. So those are available for 2 months, March and April, available in the Welcome Center as well. The end of March, March 31st, is Fifth Sunday Feast. So we plan to join us for that. It's a good day to bring visitors. It's not a potluck, so don't bring your spaghetti and stuff. It's a day where we'll have an entree, a dessert, and a drink for just $10, and we turn this into a cafe. It's a fun time where we eat together, and we have a chef. We have a secret chef that will be preparing the meal. Actually, they're secret because we don't know who it is yet, but we'll have it figured out by then. So hey, Joan, would you actually bring me the shirt and coffee mug? Joan has been working her tail off. I'm so excited about this. We now have our online store rocking. We've already gotten like quite a few orders. There's t-shirts, there's mugs. You have to look, there's big versions of this so you can see clearly back on the back table. The smaller version is for you to take with you. We have t-shirts that say, co-creating a world that works for everyone. This was the prototype, so it doesn't say co-creating, but so co-creating a world that works for everyone. It's got our little logo. We have Namaste, y'all. We also have, show them that mug there. We love you hard, hard, hard. We swear to God. With the Unity logo. What are some of the other cool things we have on here? Namaste, y'all. Oh, and we have one with all the world's religions that says praise well with others. I love that one. They're available. So if you'd like to get one of these, see Joan at the back table afterwards and look at more detail. I've already gotten 2 of the coffee mugs. I love them so much. I love getting up in the morning, this is mine here, and looking at co-creating the world that works for everyone. So thank you, Joan, for your work on that. And everyone that's watching us on Facebook, this is going to be posted on Facebook soon and on our website. And so take one of these home with you. You can go ahead and order it today. If you order today, you'll get a little bit quicker. Joan will be back there with these order sheets. You can take this with you as well. So thank you so much for that. Awesome. We'd also like to, once again, say welcome to our visitor. Thank you for being with us today. We sure hope to see you again. Come and join us. So I think that's all for today, everybody. Happy Mardi Gras, happy Fat Tuesday, happy Ash Wednesday, and all that good stuff. We're going to sing together to affirm, stand together to affirm that all is well. This awesome song by John Scott, Life is... We are truly, truly... What a great affirmation to go out to today with. Sing out. All is well. And life is good, and I am truly blessed. Yeah, all is well, and life is good, and I am truly blessed. I'll let light shine, let light shine, so that everyone can see. I let daily flow through me. All is well, y'all. All is well, and life is good, and I am truly blessed. All is well, and life is good, and I am truly blessed. Help me be the change. Help me be the change. Oh, the change we want to see. And let harmony flow daily through me. And all is well, and life is good, and I am truly blessed. Yes, I am. All is well, and life is good. All is well and life is good. I am. Does it good look like good like this? Is it on right? Can you even tell? All is well and life is good. It's kind of moldy. Wait a minute. All is well and life is good. I'll let light shine. I'll let light shine so that everyone can see. I'll let love divine daily flow through me. And all is well and life is good. And I am truly blessed. Yes, we are. And all is well, and life is good. And I am truly blessed. Sing it one more time, y'all. And all is well, and life is good. And I am truly blessed. Yeah, yeah. And all is well, and life is good, and I am truly blessed. I am truly blessed. I am truly blessed. All right, y'all, as we say the prayer of protection to go out through the day, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. Happy Mardi Gras, y'all. Time to celebrate.
Well, I'm going to Jordan. I want to see the Mardi Gras. Yes, I'm going to Jordan. I want to see the Mardi Gras. When I see the Mardi Gras, I want to know what's carnival for. Going down in your lane, I've got my ticket in my hand. Going down